Welcome to the Honda Campus All-Star Challenge National Qualifying Tournament for Season 32. Nationally, 64 HBCUs are competing to advance to the National Championship Tournament. I'm David Tuttle, your moderator for this game, and alongside me virtually is Brian Ross at the scorer's table. Now for the introductions. In this game, it's the team from Edward Waters College and the HCAST team from Florida A&M University. There will be 3 4-minute rounds of face-off and bonus questions, followed by the final 60-second speed round for each team. That is the ultimate challenge. We're about to start round 1. I didn't warn the teams that I was going to ask a question of them. We met all of these players in previous matches, but what we're going to ask you to do is, if there's a shout-out you'd like to make to someone at your hometown or your school, your friends, your social organizations, we want to hear from you. So give a shout out to whoever you want. And we'll start with Edward Waters and Lorenzo as soon as I bring you up on the full screen. There we go. Who you want to say hi to?
I just want to say hi to my Lord and Savior, of course, Jesus, and that's it.
Okay, very good. And for Florida A&M, we have James.
Hey there. I would love to give a shout out to, weirdly enough, my D&D group, who are the most supportive people in my life, and I'm profoundly thankful for. Thank you, guys.
All right, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, very good. I have some kids who are into that as well. So, I mean, actual kids who used to live in my house. All right, so for round 1, it's going to fall to James for Florida A&M to choose from the following 4 topics, and they are: let's cross that bridge, medical conditions, casually, only O, and on-stage originators.
Awesome. Let's go medical conditions casually.
Okay. Gesundheit. Foreign particles irritating your nasal mucosa might cause a sternutation, more commonly known as a what? James, FAMU.
Sneeze.
That's correct for 10, and for 10 points apiece on the bonus. Try putting your warm thumb on the top of your mouth to get rid of sphenopalatine ganglioneuralgia, also known by what chilly 2-word term?
Brain freeze.
That's correct. And holding your breath or drinking water upside down are folk remedies for what condition, formerly called synchronous diaphragmatic flutter?
Hiccups. And then
also correct. Select.
Sorry, medical conditions casually.
Okay. Experimenters told Tuskegee sharecroppers they were being treated for bad blood, a euphemism for what bacterial STD? James, FAMU.
Syphilis.
That's correct for 10, and 10 points apiece on the bonus. Bovine spongiform encephalopathy is a mouthful, so most people use what 2-word common name for that neurodegenerative disease?
Mad cow.
That's correct for 10, and trismus and tetanus are 2 different conditions,
Lockjaw.
but both are known by what name? A reference to restricted movement of the mandible.
Lockjaw.
That's also correct for 10, and please select.
Medical conditions.
We'll finish the category. In the 19th century, consumption was the common name for what disease of the lungs that killed Paul Laurence Dunbar and Emily Bronte? James, FAMU.
Tuberculosis.
That's correct for 10 as well, and your bonus, 10 points apiece. Falling sickness is an outdated common name for what neurological disorder characterized by seizures?
Epilepsy.
Correct for 10. And what's the alliterative 2-word common name for African trypanosomiasis, a parasitic disease spread by the bite of tsetse flies?
Y'all cool with sleeping sickness?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Sleeping sickness.
That's also correct, and that's a moderator's nightmare to read, I got to say. So please select.
Let's cross that bridge.
Nicknamed the coat hanger for its steel arch design, the bridge in what Australian city is often photographed with its nearby iconic Opera House? James, FAMU.
Sydney.
That's correct for 10, and 10 points apiece on the bonus. An Instagrammable tourist spot is the Rialto Bridge, the oldest of the 4 bridges spanning the Grand Canal in what Italian city?
Very cool with that. Venice.
Correct for 10. A bridge in Singapore took a cue from science and was built to visually suggest what corkscrew shape of a DNA molecule?
Double helix.
Double helix is correct for 10 as well. Please select.
Let's cross that bridge.
Padlocks left by lovers on the Pont d'Art Bridge were a weighty problem until their removal in 2015 in what European city of light? James, FAMU.
Paris?
Correct for 10, and for 10 points apiece on the bonus. Pont des Arts is one of the
Seine.
37 Parisian bridges crossing what river?
What's the Seine?
It is the Seine. Yeah. The Saint-Nazaire Bridge in Brittany spans 2 miles over the mouth of what L River, France's longest?
I think this is probably the Loire.
Go for it.
Loire.
That's correct. I've actually been on it. It's very, very big. All right, choose again, please. Bridge again. John Roebling did not live to see his greatest design over New York's East River finished. It was from 1883 to 1903 what world's longest suspension bridge? James, FAMU.
Brooklyn Bridge?
It is the Brooklyn Bridge. I won't sell it to you. Correct for 10. Here is your bonus. Which head or boss of Tammany Hall had to be generously bribed to approve the Brooklyn Bridge's bond issue?
Tweed.
Boss Tweed is correct. And which greatest showman led 21 elephants across the Brooklyn Bridge in 1884 to prove its strength?
Brothers, Barnum and Bailey.
I'm actually... no, actually, I think it's Barnum in this case.
Answer, please.
Let's do Barnum.
That is correct. We needed P.T. Barnum. That's correct for 10 points on the bonus. And FAMU has jumped off to a pretty impressive lead. 180 points for FAMU, and Edward Waters waiting to get on the board. So we're going to go to the second round after we ask if there are any questions about the first round. Are there any questions? I don't see anything in the private chat, and I'm hearing nothing on the video. So we'll go ahead and set up for the second round, where we will put Jeremiah into the face-off position, and we'll move Brian there as well. Okay, so Jeremiah and Brian, you will be playing these categories in the second round, but first, before we announce the categories, I want to give you a chance to do a shout out, because it's very important for you to tell the people at home that you're here and you're thinking of them. So Jeremiah of Edward Waters, please shout out to whoever you want.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Hi, siblings. I know y'all watching. Hi, church family who's watching as well.
Very good. Okay, and let's see. In this round, sorry, I don't have the correct information in front of me. Brian, you are playing in the second round. Who did you like to say hi to and shout out to?
I'm going to keep it simple and shout out the person that's usually with us and not here, our president, Dr. Robinson.
Very good. All right, so both of you are in the centered position, and Jeremiah, you're going to get to select from these 4 categories. They are I know people, former capitals in the U.S., religious readings, and the post office.
Religious readings.
Religious readings. Ellen G. White's Conflict of Ages series is an important text in what Protestant faith that observes the Sabbath on Saturday? FAMU, Brian.
Adventist or Seventh-day Adventist?
I needed the whole Seventh-day Adventist, and you gave it to me, correct, for 10.
Nice.
All right, for 10 points apiece. Cryonics, Dianetics, or Phrenology? Which is the
one?
L. Ron Hubbard book that
Dianetics.
launched
Okay.
Scientology?
Dianetics.
That's correct for 10. And Robert Rogers's Holy Pibby
Gotta be Rasta.
and Haile Selassie's autobiography, My Life in Ethiopia's Progress, are important texts in what pro-Black faith?
Rastafari.
Rastafari is correct for 10 on that bonus. Please select.
Let's go religious readings.
Religious readings. The Tanakh's 3 sets of books, the Pentateuch, the Prophets, and the Writings, are sacred to what faith? FAMU, Brian.
Judaism.
Judaism is correct for 10, and for 10 points apiece on the bonus. Another name for the Pentateuch, what
Torah.
T sacred
Actually-
text is preserved on handwritten parchment scrolls in synagogues?
Yeah, probably.
I would think
Probably
Yeah,
Torah.
go for it.
Torah.
Torah is correct, and what other T text containing the Mishnah
Talmud.
and Gemara
Okay.
is the primary source of Jewish law?
The Talmud.
The Talmud is correct for 10 more on the bonus. Please select.
Religious readings.
All right, last time for that one. Hermann Hesse, Gunter Grass, or Konrad Adenauer? Whose Siddhartha was primarily published in German? FAMU, Brian.
Hess.
Hermann Hesse is correct for 10, and
Nice.
here's your bonus. 10 points apiece. Bradford, Bradstreet, or Baxter? Which Puritan sequence of religious poems, Contemplations, wasn't published until the 19th century?
There's
Take a guess?
Baxter sounds nice.
there's some portion of me that thinks Brad Street,
Answer,
but I
please.
could be off.
Let's go Bradstreet.
Bradstreet is actually correct for 10. And which son of Increus Mather is better remembered for the Salem witch trials than for his greatest work, Magnalia Christi Americana?
Oh,
Who wrote that play? Arthur Miller, maybe? No. Well,
Answer,
go,
please.
Go Miller.
Miller.
Yeah.
Nope, his name is Cotton. Cotton Mather we're looking for
Cotton
there.
Mather.
All right,
Okay.
so please select.
Let's go people. I know people.
I know people. No relation, but what last name is shared by the fluffy comic Gabriel and the singers Enrique and Julio? FAMU, Brian.
Iglesias.
Iglesias is correct for 10 and for 10 points apiece on the bonus. Somali-born Zara Mohammed Abdul Majid uses what stage
What,
name
Iman?
as a model, actress, and businesswoman?
Is it Iman?
I would say
It wouldn't
that.
be.
Answer,
Yeah, go for
please.
Iman.
Iman is correct for 10. And an early fly girl on In Living Color who judges
Inaba, I
Dancing
think.
with the Stars
Inaba, yeah.
and contributes her take on topics to The Talk.
Inaba.
Carrie Ann and Naba is correct also. So please select.
I know people.
Janice Ian, Gwen Eiffel, Laura Innes. Which PBS NewsHour correspondent was the first Black woman to host a national political talk show on TV? FAMU, Brian.
Eiffel.
Gwen Eiffel is correct for 10 and for your bonus. First for 20 and then for 10 points. Which pioneer of modernism in the theater wrote An Enemy of the People, Ghosts, and The Wild Duck?
I don't know any of these.
No.
Let's go maybe Ibsen?
Answer, please.
Let's do it. Ibsen.
Ibsen, you got it all for
Oh,
20
wow.
points. Well played.
Love
Please
it.
select.
I know people.
Last one. Hank Iba, Harold Ickes, Roy Innes. Which activist served as chairman of CORE for almost 50 years? FAMU, Brian.
Innis.
Innes is correct for 10 and 20 points on the bonus, 10 points apiece. Of the three current U.S. governors whose last names
It's Ivy.
begin with I, who's
Ivy?
the only woman
Ivy.
leading Alabama
Okay.
till 2023?
Ivy.
Kay Ivey is correct. Now, name either of the other two I governors, one leading Hawaii and the other re-elected in 2020 in
Washington.
Washington State. Any answer?
Ilele.
Iverson. Okay.
No,
Yeah.
you were close. Jay Inslee in Washington State
Inslee, yeah.
and David Ige, I believe it's pronounced Ige, in Hawaii. So no points on that last part, but that's the end of the second round, and FAMU is continuing its impressive run, 340 points for FAMU, and we'll move on to the third round by putting people into the third round slots, but we will also ask if there was anything about the second round that you would like to review at this time. No? Okay. In that case, I'm going to look over here. I'm going to look up something very, very briefly. Okay, we're good. Sorry, I'm just doing some housekeeping here. All right, so we're about to start the third round, and the score stands as we see it on the screen. Florida A&M 340 points and Edward Waters 0. So we're going to bring up the third round contestants, and we're going to ask them if they have a shout out that they would like to make to their home schools. So Chauncey, we'll bring you up first. Who would you like to say hi to?
I'd like to give a shout out to our biggest supporter, our president of our institution, Dr. A. Zachary Faison.
Very good. And we'll move on. Let's see. Elliot. Elliot is playing in the third round. So we'll bring up Elliot. Any shout out you wish to make?
Shout out to my family, my friend Deja, who's actually dog sitting right now. So yeah.
Is that the dog I hear in the background?
Yes. Sorry about that.
Okay. It's not bothering me. So I'm good to go on that. Haven't had a dog in the house in a few years, and I kind of miss it. So anyway, so the third round categories that Chauncey will select from to start the third round are 2020 in sports, British monarchs, U.S. Navy installations, and what about wheat?
2020 in sports.
All right, 2020 sports. Inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement, several star recruits signed with HBCUs, including Makur Maker, joining what school's Bison? FAMU, Elliot.
Howard.
Howard is correct for 10, and bonus, 10 points apiece. My choice is to be surrounded by people with similar backgrounds.
Norfolk.
Tweeted Tavion Land on becoming a Spartan at which
Norfolk.
Virginia HBCU?
Norfolk State.
Norfolk State, yes. I would have prompted you on Norfolk there. Yes, correct for 10. Star quarterback Daniel Ingram
Arkansas
passed
Pine.
on the University of Cincinnati to play as a Golden Lion in Pine Bluff at an HBCU rather, in what state?
Arkansas.
Arkansas Pine Bluff is correct as well. Please select the next category.
2020 in sports.
All right, stay in the category. After a 22-team bubble sequestration in Florida, what team vanquished the Heat to win the 2020 NBA championship? Elliot, FAMU.
Lakers.
That's correct for 10, and on the bonus, 5 points apiece. COVID fears canceled September's
Swag,
challenge
yeah.
and December's Celebration Bowl, marquee games of what 2 HBCU conferences?
SWAC and MEAC.
We can accept that in that form. Mideastern Athletic, Southwestern Athletic. 2 answers again.
2 answers.
15 years after his last fight, which 54-year-old heavyweight took on which 51-year-old
Mike
in
Tyson
a November
and
boxing
Jones, was it?
exhibition?
Jones Jr. Tyson and Jones Jr.
Both are correct for 10 points as well. On the bonus, please select.
2020 in sports.
Last one of the category. In July, Seattleites chose the Kraken, a legendary fearsome sea monster, to name its expansion team in what pro sport? Elliot, FAMU.
Hockey.
Hockey is correct. The NHL, or National Hockey League. 5 points apiece and a 5-point bonus for all 3 on the bonus. The
Yes,
NFL's
Goodell.
2020 draft was held via teleconferencing from the home of which commissioner, now in his 15th year?
Goodell.
Roger Goodell is correct. And
NFL.
2 answers. Which LSU star was chosen number 1 overall in the 2020 NFL draft by what team?
Burrow Bengals.
Burrow and Bengals are all correct. You get the full 20 on the question, so please select.
Let's do what about wheat?
What about wheat? The best variety for making pasta, the name of what type of wheat sounds like the city that's home to North Carolina Central? Am I having a problem here? Interesting. Let me try this again. I'm gonna clear the buzzers. We're gonna try this one more time. Here we go. There we go. Elliot, FAMU.
Durham.
Durham is correct for 10. I'm not
Nice.
sure if you didn't buzz in or whether I did something wrong, so I gave you another shot at it. Correct for 10. 5 points apiece and a 5-point bonus for all 3. First, pasta is often made from the hard middlings of durum wheat, a coarse flour known by what S name?
I think maybe semolina.
Semolina.
Correct for 5. And 2 answers. Middlings of the grain
two.
have the
One is
hard
germ,
outer
and probably
part of
bran.
the seed and the seed embryo removed. What are
Spot
those
on.
B and G parts?
Bran and
Bran
germ.
and germ.
Both are correct for a total of 20 points on the bonus. Select, please.
What about wheat?
Again on wheat. Hard white wheat forms the flour baked into what popular are noodles much used in Japanese soups? Elliot, FAMU.
Ramen.
That's correct for 10. And on the bonus, 5 points apiece, 5-point bonus for all 3. Great for making cakes and pastries. Soft wheat is much grown in Pike and Calhoun counties in western Illinois. Along what river?
Could this be the Mississippi?
Yeah, Mississippi.
There you go with it.
Mississippi is correct for 10. And, I'm sorry, for 5. What 2 states grow the most wheat?
Route 2.
One with much grown
sounds
in
like
Grand
Kansas.
Forks County. The
Forks
other
sounds
with
like
much
Iowa.
grown in Wichita County.
So Kansas and
Okay.
Iowa.
That's what
Kansas,
I
Iowa.
Kansas is correct. North Dakota is where Grand Forks County is.
Yeah.
So that's 5 points and a total of 10 on that bonus. And by the way, Wichita County actually doesn't have the city of Wichita in it, but it's in Kansas anyway. All right, so that's the end of round 3. And we have a score of 480 points for Florida A&M. That's got to be close to a record-breaking number of points for the first 3 rounds. And so we will move on to the Ultimate Challenge. We will be playing the Ultimate Challenge for both teams because it enters into points per game in case of tiebreakers and playoff seedings. So we will first ask if there are any questions about the material in the 3rd round that anyone wishes to discuss. If that is not the case, then what we're going to do here is bring that up. I'm going to do a little bit of setup for the Ultimate Challenge. We are first going to go to Edward Waters. There we go. And I'm going to ask the folks at FAMU if you could mute your microphones. I've been meaning to do that all morning, and this time I'm going to get it right. All right, very good. So, Jeremiah, Lorenzo, Chauncey, you have these 4 categories to choose from. Endocrine glands, sussing Seuss, what's the word, W in quotations, and who's with whose news?
Sussing Seuss.
You're going to go for Dr. Seuss, sussing Seuss. Okay. What 2 words, I got to set up myself here so I can see the answers. There we go. What 2 words complete each title of these Dr. Seuss stories? Green eggs, blank,
ham.
blank. Yes.
And ham.
Horton hears blank, blank.
Who?
If I ran.
I go.
No. Marvin K. Mooney, will you please?
Be quiet.
Marry me.
No. Yertle.
The turtle.
Yes, it is. The Cat in the Hat.
Pass.
No. The Butter.
Pass.
No. The 500 Hats of.
Pass.
Pass.
No. There's a Wocket in.
My pocket.
Yes, it is. Oh, the places.
You'll go.
That's correct as well. Coming back around. If I ran.
By you.
No. Marvin K. Mooney, will you please? Oh, and 0 seconds on the clock. So we got a total of 5 out of 10. Dr. Seuss wrote a lot of books in his very prolific career. So we'll go back over the ones. If I Ran the Zoo, or If I Ran the Circus.
Yeah.
He wrote 2 books that started that way. Marvin K. Mooney, will you please go now? The Cat in the Hat comes back. There was also a Cat in the Hat songbook, but we would have accepted either one. And the Butter Battle Book. The 500 Hats of Bartholomew Cubbins. And that's the 5 that we had to recap there. Very good. So 125 points on that particular round. And so we'll go to Florida A&M. Please unmute your microphones so that we can hear all 3 players. And we will mute the microphones of the Edward Waters team, and we'll switch over to see the FAMU players. There are 3 categories left. You have the match in hand, so you can choose which of those 3 categories you'd like to take a shot at.
Still, what's the word?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
What's the word?
What's the word with W in quotes? What word or name starting with W is a synonym for billfold?
Wallet.
Yes. Mexico's Lucha Libre.
Wrestling.
Yes. Massachusetts Senior Center.
War.
Yes, it is. A Patek
Watch.
Philippe. Yes, a wristwatch. Germany's ring
Wagner.
cycle composer. Wagner or Wagner, yes. Collectively, the carpal
Wrist.
bones.
Wrist, yep.
Yes, it is. Bronte's
Wuthering.
height.
Wuthering.
Yes, they were. Relinquishment of a privilege.
Pass.
No. Former U.S.
Walter.
Mondale. Walter is correct. The state whose
Washington.
capital is
Washington.
Olympia. That's correct. So you have 1 left. Relinquishment of a privilege. Wait for me to
Withdraw.
respond.
Rest.
Withdraw.
No.
Withheld.
Anything? No.
Relinquish.
I don't think I've heard it yet.
Let it go.
Wither.
Wrist.
No. Nope. All right. 9 out of 10 for 225 points. Well played. The one that we were looking for there is a waiver.
Waiver.
You sign a
Good.
waiver and you relinquish
Wow.
a privilege or a right, but relinquishment of a privilege. So 705 points. That is a massive total of points for one match in Honda Campus All-Star Challenge. So Florida A&M are the victors this time around. We will play a few more rounds when we're ready to go for the next round. And so we ask all of our viewers who are out there, stick around. We'll be there as soon as we possibly can. Until then, so long.